Talk a little bit more about fueling curiosity and how that helps one get out of the quicksand.
Well, we need options. We need creativity. Um, we need insight, and we need to look to others. We need to really to embrace lifelong learning. That way, we've got a ready supply of answers. Maybe they're not even answers that we need today, but they're answers that will serve us in the future. I often describe it like putting paint on your palette you so that you can paint with it. You can't paint with it with paint that is still in the tube, right? You've got to access it. And so curiosity, it's one of those common denominators we see in the very best, most effective leaders, for sure.
So that's interesting. Putting paint on the palette. How does that metaphor relate to what a leader would do in any given business day?
Wow. Okay, in a given business day, I think the one obvious application is ask, don't tell. I wrote an entire chapter on the power of questions. And the best leaders, not only do they ask the most questions, they ask the best questions. And so when you do that, you are activating that choice to fuel curiosity. See, each of the choices is nothing more than an intellectual exercise until you activate the choice. You can say, I'm going to fuel curiosity, and I'll say, fantastic. How are you going to do that? You can say, I'm going to confront reality, so forth and so on. It's like, but how are you going to do that? And a few years back, Jim Collins was speaking to our organization, and he asked, but again, about 6 or 7 thousand of us in the room. I remember the feeling in the room when he said, I want you to think about how many questions you ask in a day compared to how many statements you make. And so I could feel everybody trying to think about that because that's kind of maybe a little bit of a different, challenge. And so while we're thinking about it, he says, I want you to double the number of questions you ask in a day. Your question to statement ratio, double the number of questions. And I could feel the whole room thinking about what would that look like? What would that feel like? And then he said, and then double it again, double it again. And so I've been a fan of questions my entire career. I love that story from Jim. He just said when he asks more questions, he gets better answers. And I would say when leaders ask more questions, they are able to find the solutions that will help them out of quicksand.
I'm a big